What's going on, guys? Fearmaky here, bringing you another video. Let's get into it. Let's roll deep and keep grinding out there, guys. Let's dive into the video. Let's go. Welcome back, guys, to another build guide on the Trickster. As we said, we are committed to full skill build. If you guys are like me, you want to break the meta, man. You want to be able to utilize the game to its full potential with all of the tools it has available to you, and not make it another Division 2, Destiny, just shooter. This game inspired me so much when I started playing it, with so many skills that it has, the anomaly power, the talent trees, the diverse builds that you could potentially build with it. And I hope the devs do a rebalancing patch next week, as they said they will. I know they've nerfed the guns a little bit to bring them down to a normal state, which in my opinion I don't agree with. Let the players have fun with the builds they've discovered, what they like to play, you know, but they need to buff the skill builds for sure. They put so much work into skills and the synergy of it, and to not have it perform on par with the guns, you know, makes me a little bit sad. But we have hope. Nonetheless, the skill builds that I am running have been able to clear up to 14 tier, and it's not fully upgraded. They're like level 48, 49s. Obviously when I get it to 50 and I max out all the secondary attributes, then we'll be trucking the content even more. But man, I can't wait to share with you guys everything that I've learned in the last couple of days with the skill build. This variation that I'm showing you here is just this starter. I have tweaked this build immensely, from trial and error, from failure to success, and there is another version of it that I want to show you guys. But this is all out skill build. Untamed Power is what I'm naming the build after the mod, because of how powerful it is. We're not using any guns except for a stat stick. All we're doing is melee kills and skill kills. That's all we're doing, as you'll see throughout the entire video here. And if you're somebody that likes to be dashing around like the true Trickster, like the ninja that you are, and just deleting mobs and be in the fray with no concern for anything, then this is the build right here to play. It's so fun. The mobility of it is crazy. You don't have to aim at anything. You don't have to worry about hiding behind a corner. You just go all in. Absolutely amazing. I love it. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Well, let's get into the gear that we're using as you guys watch the video. First, we're going to showcase the gun here. So I'm using the Vagrant Fatal Morgana assault rifle. The reason for that is literally for the stat stick on status power and skill life leech. I do have improved vulnerability in there added to apply the debuff on bosses and elites, but really it's not necessary and it doesn't flow. But you know, you can definitely do that and apply the debuff, especially now that they nerfed the debuff from 25 to 15. Even less of a reason to even shoot your gun, but up to you guys. But you can do that, or you can put in another mod if you like. But that's the gun we're using for a stat stick only. So the helmet, I was very fortunate to get this legendary helm, but the luckiest thing is it doesn't have to be legendary. The best part about this helmet is Untamed Power skill mod. As I've said before, this is one of the best skill mods available out there if you plan on doing a skill build that's up close and personal, especially as the melee Untamed Power build here that we're doing with the Trickster. I also put in emergency stance for extra survivability, because you are in there with the middle of all the mobs in the fray, so survivability is key, especially since you're just punching everything to death. But definitely you know, you can swap that out if you're feeling comfortable, if your gear is upgraded to something else. I am running a different version of it on my current live build that I'll do another guide for. But right now, emergency stance and Untamed Power. Anomaly power, close range damage not really necessary because we're not using guns, but skill life leech is immense for the survivability. On the chest, we're going with Robe of the Mortal Embrace. Again, it has anomaly power, cooldown reduction, heal and receive. The secondary stats here, the mods, is what makes the build. You have martial arts, reduces cooldown of your melee skills by 50%, and brawl boosts your melee skill damage by 100%. This is absolutely mandatory if you're going to play this build. So if you see any gear with this, keep it if you plan on doing this crazy build here. This mod definitely makes the build an amazing piece of gear. I was able to get it to 49. I still got to grind out some more mats to get it higher or upgrade the secondaries, but definitely look for a piece of gear that has these mods in it, along with the anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and status power as a third stat. For the legs, I went with the waistcloth of the Mass Awakening. Has anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and heal and receive. Again, I modded Ice Trap for survivability. And the secondary mod is Dying Fire Breath, which is an amazing mod. When your health drops to 30%, it burns everything, which is like a mini crowd control, along with the Ice Trap, which is a hard crowd control. Gives you that extra couple of seconds that you need to regain yourself and heal up, or kill a target so you can heal up to full. For the gloves, we have Containment Overseer's Gloves, anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and close range damage. The mods, Slasher. The skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. This is critical for the build as well, because the more skills you cast, the more Untamed power procs you have, the more damage you deal naturally. In addition to that, the Temporal Blade does a lot of damage anyways, and also paralyzes the targets, giving you some time to just deal extra damage to them. The second mod is what goes around. Not really necessary. I am using a different pair of gloves right now in the live version, but that's what I have with on that slot. On the boots, we have Urix Utara's boots, anomaly power, heal and receive, cooldown reduction. We have the mod Weakening the Prey. Hunt the prey, interrupts and inflicts weakness to the enemy you teleport behind. This is massive to reduce the damage that you'll take by debuffing the targets that you teleport behind. We also modded in Perseverance Shield. Receive 7,000 points of shield whenever your health drops below 30%. Again, this is for more survivability, because you are in there in melee build, out in the open, in front of everything, and you're being surrounded by multiple mobs, especially bosses. So you want to be safe. My current version of the build, I run it a little bit differently right now. Actually, it's very different, including the skills, but we'll get into that on another guide. But if you guys are feeling comfortable with survivability, you can always mod in extra damage mods that buffs your anomaly power and your melee. You can go with Move and Groove, things like that. It's going to help you get more damage. Our number one skill is Hunt the Prey. Teleport behind the target and apply a shield to yourself. This is critical for your survivability and mobility to dish out as much damage as possible to the targets. Mainly you want to back up about 5 yards and cast it behind the target you're attacking, so that way within a 5-meter radius, Untamed power will still proc. Obviously you can use it around to get to further targets as well. But in some circumstances you want to use this defensively as opposed to offensively. Meaning when you're killing the boss and your shield drops, or you know you're taking a lot of damage, hold Hunt the Prey, so that way when your shield drops, you dash again and apply a shield and continue to fight. But that's what we go with for the first skill. The second skill I'm running is Veneda's Knife. This is to apply the debuff and also slow the mobs. And when you punch or use any skill on that target, the first initial hit takes double damage. It allows you to one-shot multiple mobs at the same time once the Veneda's Knife is on it. Really strong debuffing skill. It also procs Untamed power and deals some nice damage of its own, but the debuff it applies is so much superior than anything else, along with some minor crowd control. The final skill I run with is Temporal Blade. And we can cast this twice because of how we have our mods in our gear. And what you want to do here is when you dash behind the target, you throw your Veneda's Knife, and then you do one Temporal Blade. Then you punch, then you throw the second Veneda's Blade. Sometimes I'll throw both of them back to back that's not the ideal situation, because you want to utilize the time that the targets are paralyzed for that 2 seconds to dish out a melee hit, and then once they become unparalyzed, you hit them again with Temporal Blade. But play how you want to play it, but that's the way to maximize and min-max the build. And also to increase your survivability and damage intake if you play it that way. I have to practice it better myself, but that's, you know, what you want to do. You dash behind, I threw the Veneda's knife there. I did one Temporal Blade. I should have punched again, but I threw the second one. So you don't want to make that mistake. You want to wait. But on this target, they become somewhat resistant to the paralyze pretty quickly, so it's not really a big deal. And on bosses, you just want to get as many skills out as possible. But that is it, guys. Let's get into the skills. So this is the skill tree we went with. What really makes the build here is Anomaly Scything, activating a melee skill. Increases your anomaly power by 30% for 5 seconds, and you guys see we're meleeing all the time. As well as Counter Shield, activating a Deception skill, which is a Veneda's knife, increases your anomaly power by 50%. Activating a Movement skill, which is our Hunt the Prey, increases anomaly power by another 50%. And then when your damage skill ends, increases your anomaly power by 50%, which is your Temporal Blade. As soon as you cast that, immediately you get the buff. Absolutely amazing. And then we have the last talent, and this Altered Executioner. Each enemy in close range increases your anomaly power by an additional 10%. So the more mobs around you, the more damage you're dealing. Absolutely amazing. We also have Wither Scything, which is melee skills apply weakness to the mob, which reduces the damage they deal to you. It's huge survivability. And also we have another activating the movement skill on the Leap of Clincher, increases resistance piercing by 15%. So in total we actually have Disturbance Coding, which is 10% resistance piercing, another Disturbance Coding talent, which is another 10%, so that's 20. And the Leap of Clincher for the 15, that's 35% resistance piercing. And then Scion of the Void, which is when your damage skill ends, increases your armor piercing by 30% and resistance piercing by 25% for 10 seconds. So in total, we actually have 60% resistance piercing, which is huge for our skill damage build. And again, look at that. Untamed Power did most of our damage. The build is absolutely crazy. The mod is amazing. Slow and Push is our melee skill. Temporal Blade is also another skill there. This is just an overview of all the gear that we used, if you guys want to look at it again. But yeah, guys, I like the build. I can't wait to share with you guys the other build variant that I have on the skill tree. Is completely different, and I don't want to share any spoilers here. But yeah, man, my plan right now is to farm up some drop pod resources, level up all of my gear to level 49, max out the secondary attributes, and then hopefully be able to clear 14, get into 15. I have been playing a lot of multiplayer, and as you guys have known, multiplayer is way harder, a lot more, I guess, the mobs just have way more health and a lot tougher compared to single player. And with my playstyle and the skill builds not being able to perform as well as the guns, and you're being up close and personal, it's, you know, kind of daunting to go in a match by yourself and then you wipe 10 minutes in. But we're going to do it. So my goal right now is to keep farming up, level it, and clear a 15 solo with full skill build. All right, and especially hopefully with the buffs next week, it's going to make it easier for us as well. But anyways, you guys have been amazing. Please leave your comments below on what you guys do with the build, what variants you're running. And if the content helped you guys in any way and you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up, like the video, please subscribe. You guys roll deep and keep grinding. Woo!